Baggage Fefnakatan, Kostandan Hanmek Wilson Avonlan, Efkedim Kunin Samki Balsachin, Earth here Dulfisk, and Sona Iba Lord Aramik, Isad San Jew Fabros or Jai Kanla. Jorik Vorderelsas, Sar Surgeon Hop Karlmaxam, Imbas En Jortharol, Magnus Sworn Rol, Josra Stra, Michni, Nisuf Inverlak, Gar Ilth, Mingrit Via Saarni.
100 years ago there was a war betwixt a tyrant king and rebel lords, betwixt a country's noblest and its worst. Justice took flight in that war, fate was accursed, for one by one the rebel castles fell, and all their lands were sacked and burned and butchered. Few were left alive, and everywhere the smell of dead and rotting men and women lingered. The bones of those slaughtered on an army's way, raven-picked and sun-bleached, lie there to this day. By order of the lunatic tyrant king, his craven soldiers each brought, bound and screaming, a babe or child no older than 5, into the frozen winter woods to die. If the bitter cold did not seal them off, there were wolves within that wood, ever hungry, who'd find a gift of tender meat to scoff, and help avenge the tyrant's dignity. Such was the scene that the royalists had wrought. They left, glad at the end of a war hard fought. 20 years passed, no one resettled the land, and thus it was conquered by nature's hand. All that time the tyrant bid it lie still, to show what befell when any fought his will. And yet as age and a long peace wore at him, he resolved to visit his Barrow counties, hoping such a pilgrimage might renew him, and return the thrill of erstwhile glories. With an honour guard of 200 knights, the king set off with the first of dawn's light. Dutiful peasantry cheered as he rode by. The fairest daughters were kept hidden inside. Stores of food and strong-armed youths were taken, who after the mounted escort hastened. They were bidden to erect the camp at night, to tend the horses and prepare the dinners. Many cooking fires were set alight. They were as a dozen flaming markers. Eyes in the wood watched these strangers unblinking, and some of the oldest shook, remembering. The moon shone down on that ribald camp below, as the eyes watched. Some were wolves, some more so. The night wore on, the fires ebbed and dimmed, the complacent tyrant and his knights turned in. The peasants they had pressed into service were made to keep watch throughout the cold night, and thus it was only them who noticed when the stalking predators came into sight. Half were wolves of the wood, their tread near silent. Half were men and women, feral and violent. Slow death was sworn for any serf who did run, and as they fled, this threat deterred no one. The pack stalked onward and let the peasants go, better the sleeping meat than those who'd flown. Soon came the snarls and the bites and the tears, soon came the blood and the screams and the pain. The fools had come too close to the wolves' lair, not a mistake any would make again. Did those who had been left to die as babes know of the vengeance they took? None can say. Drunk and slow, half were dead ere any arose or thought to defend their vulnerable throats. Many more lost heart to be so assailed. Near naked they ran with cowardly wails. Only the king's own chosen bodyguards, 4 strong, were in any fit state to fight. They gave good account, they fought long and hard, until, like their king, they died neath a bite. Once the killing was done, it was time to feed, with meat enough to sate the pack's toothsome need. The knights who had fled told all to their torturers, then died the shrieking death of traitors. A company of men followed their course back, their king, or at least his bones, they would track. If wolves and savages had murdered him, they'd burn the whole cursed wood to the ground. If any yet lived who failed him, in this dead land their screams would be the only sound. When these reckless fools failed to come home, the land was thought to be cursed, and left alone.